Why I look red, I think it's because of the sunlight. I just came outside and it's almost 6 o'clock, I think, at night. So we have been growing Girls Kitchen for a while. But I share a lot of my gardening stuff, and we're going to kind of transition that. I'm going to change the name a little bit so that it reflects some of our gardening. But I think what I want to do is let you know that if you are in an apartment, if you're in a city, if you're in an HOA, if you just don't have a ton of room, which we have a little bit more than most because we're actually on a turn in a road, so I actually own like a little bit more property. I own like a foot on either side of the fences actually. But I want you to know that you can garden anywhere. You just can. I didn't think we could. I started with some tomatoes on a balcony in an apartment, and I found the cutest pictures of my daughter the other day when she was 3 and like hands dirty, just moving soil from one pot to the other. But I want to make this accessible because it wasn't something that I ever thought I would do. We had a little tiny garden that my mom wanted one year, and it was not a success. My dad had bought me this. It's almost like toilet paper. It probably was. It was Minnie Mouse and it had flower seeds in it, and we cut some grass out and we rolled it out, and I don't think I got one flower. But this was not a big thing for us. It just wasn't. My dad had some roses that he was very attached to. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how it's feasible, how you can get letters from your HOA in the middle of the winter, because you may have hung garden tarps on your small front porch. They actually sent me a letter that they were concerned that I did not ask my supreme overlords to remodel my front door. And my response to them was that I was growing tomatoes. So, and we had put some shelves out there, and that's what we did. So, with that being said, you'll probably hear that a few different times because I'm going to record different snippets of videos and try to figure this out. My daughter's now 19, and she's a virtual assistant. She uses Canva, and she's going to help me with editing and figuring all of this out. So, sorry, the door cracked. Kiddo's standing there. She doesn't want to bother me, and the dog heard me, and now he's barking his head off. So, like I said, you'll hear this a few different times, probably within the next few videos, just because I don't know which one's going to come out. And also, like, if you watch them on a border, you know that we're kind of doing a transition. Yes, you're still going to see the kitchen stuff because the garden and the kitchen absolutely go together. Plus, I also want to show you that when you learn things, it doesn't have to be that you grew your own this or that. I want to learn how to make soap. So I pay for a subscription from a lovely lady in Canada, and she kind of perpetuated what I already had a love of, but you know, they do all the homegrown things, and that's wonderful. They didn't start there. She's very clear about that. But every month there's a different topic, and like there's a soap making, and there's this and that. I have a kit from Amazon to learn to make soap. I also have a beautiful book on how to make soap. So what I would like to show you is that you can start with, you know, a kit that's maybe not the best ingredients, but you're learning. We had the pleasure and I don't even know what word, but we were lucky enough to buy a case of locally grown tomatoes last year, which is great because at least, you know, they weren't from the grocery store. No, we're not going to have that attitude. I'll tell you what we've made with it, but I started canning with jalapenos from the grocery store. And I still do it, and I try to grow more jalapenos this year, and it's looking promising. But if I have to, it will definitely be jalapenos from the grocery store. I get them when they're like really super cheap, like 2 cents a piece, 3-4 cents, something like that, and I can the heck out of them, and they're delicious throughout the year. But what we grew with those, what we made with those tomatoes was tomato paste, which I don't even use very often. I just wanted to do it. That's cool. So now you're hearing my neighbor's kids. But we made tomato paste. I have little balls in the freezer that we made the tomato paste. It took a long time. I scooped them onto a tray, froze them, and then put them into, I think it's a baggie in my freezer, my deep freezer, one of my deep freezers. So we also made ketchup, and my kid is now obsessed with this homemade ketchup. So I think I'm buying many cases of tomatoes, because my tomatoes for sauce and stuff are not fantastic this year, but we have tomatoes growing, and I'm so excited because last year was like, we got 1 tomato. So I'm very excited. What else did we make? Oh, we just canned tomatoes. We crushed some and we cubed some. So out of that 25 pounds of 20 or 25 pounds of tomatoes, we got so much pleasure. So there's gonna be a lot more tomatoes this year. So that's what I want to instill in y'all. I want you to know that it's feasible, even if you live in an apartment, even if you have a little bit of chunk of land in an HOA in a city. It's possible. I have big plans for this garden, and we've been here for 5 years. The first year we didn't do much of anything. And then within the last 4 years we have done things. We've revamped things, and maybe I'll insert a picture of me soaking wet from last night, because that's what I'm going to talk to y'all about today. So and I say I'm sorry. I wanted a watering system. I should have bought soaker hoses. Let's be very honest. I'm not fantastically pleased with this, but it is humorous because I was literally like, the water was just running off of me because I cannot get these situated. I think I have a plan, and I'll show you a little bit about what I'm going to do with those later, but let me show you what I bought. So these are pretty cheap. I think they were like $40 from Lowe's. I bought 3 kits. I'm still working on configurations, and I may have to buy a few extra hoses, but these are pretty cool. I'm going to flip this camera and show you. Sorry, the sun's behind me. So these are a sprinkler kit. It's just a garden watering kit. If you look here, there's actually 3 of these, and I'm going to show you the configurations. There's literally the directions on the back of the box. Nothing else. There's nothing in there. So 30 feet per sprinkler, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna put these in my garden beds. That's how I got wet last night. So let me just show you what comes in the box. So there's a bag of pieces. There is the spike, and on the spike is, you can turn it on and off. Hey, so what I found was that off is not really off. So I found that out the hard way. It does turn it down a little bit, but I forgot to put that little cap back on when I was trying to regulate something, and I was trying to put the cap back on. Well, water was actively flowing, and that's how I got supremely wet, other than I was already wet. Okay, so on this, it comes with this. It comes with an extension. That is not what I am needing, but if you were doing a yard, that would be really awesome. I'm going to save all of this stuff. And then you have this top piece. So this top piece, you can actually turn this, and it opens this line right here. That's where your water comes out. So once you find out how much you want it to come out, then this also spins so that you can direct it the way you want. Another reason I got really, really wet. So we're going to configure ours this way, and then here it is with the extension. It's like really big. So I put some things over here. Apparently we have like dead things. I'm gonna use these. I got these little tools in some mini kit or something. I'm gonna use these because I think I want to bury this a little bit more into my soil. So I'm gonna dig down a little bit and put this in the hoses and all that kind of down in there. They're a little bit more secure. But I also have these from my those greenhouse tarps I talked about, and I'm gonna kind of secure the hoses down in the beds that way. Let's see if this configuration works today, because it's been a raging, well, not a raging failure, because it's working. It's just I'm getting completely sopping wet. So again, I got these at Lowe's. They were on a shelf in the garden center. It includes, goodness gracious, working in the sun is interesting. Those things. The garden hoses, by the way, like, they're 15 feet. So I need to buy a shorter one. So I may have to move some hoses around, but they're good quality hoses. I'm really excited about that. So I will go over into the garden beds and kind of show you what I'm doing. Also, I have a problem that I might show you. So we have birds that have eaten all of my blueberries, like all of my blueberries. But I got blueberries. Like, I grew blueberries. Anyway, so then they started eating the strawberries, and my daughter got a whole bunch of strawberries in a bed, all her own, and she doesn't want them eaten. So we put a net over it, and then I put one of these sprinklers underneath, but the net like makes it just puddle. And this is why the journey is so much fun, because sometimes the frustration, if you don't refocus that, which I plan on talking to y'all about some mental health things and how we control how we think about things. So we're gonna reframe that and be like, I have the opportunity to get sopping wet and water my plants. So let's see what happens. Sweet me. I don't know what this sunlight is doing, because like I'm a little red, but I'm not really this red. Anyway, so I'm a night owl. Up until recently I worked night shift, and I'm back to totally being awake at night. So that's why what you're gonna see here is done at night. But let me show you this bed. This bed, it's a brand new bed. I actually bought huge bags of soil and had them delivered, like the big totes. We have one over there. It's gonna be something, so is that area, that's why it's a mess, but those big totes. Anyway, so this bed is one of our newest. It literally just got filled and it needs watered, but it has corn, it has soybeans. I don't see the pumpkin seeds coming up. I believe the other ones are some type of zucchini, maybe they're watermelon, I'm not sure. There's some vines. At the other end there's some dill, and I'm also experimenting with putting some carrots in here. So this is a busy bed. It's not huge, but these are all companion plants we Googled, because the googly is my favorite. Also, companion planting gets very interesting. We're going to talk about that in another video, because I planted beans and peppers together. But I wanted to utilize all of the soil and all of the things that I had room for, because we're in the city. I don't have a huge area. So anyway, so let me show you. This is what the watering system is for. It's kind of haphazard with the hoses. Like I said, I kind of wish I would have gotten either watering tape or soaker hoses, but I didn't. So we're going to use these. I'm going to show you, I'm going to dig down a little bit, see if I can push these down in just a tiny bit, maybe the hose pieces too, but we'll see. And then I'm going to put a stake in, but that's what I'm going to show you. Okay, this is the assembly. Of course, your stake's down in the ground. I'm going to see if I can just maybe get some. Oh, that right there is not a good thing. So that actually rolled up, and that, yeah, no. It's just the way it fell. I don't know what that is. But there's more. And I don't like it. So we're going to get rid of them. Okay, anyway, so there's our stake. I'll just pull this out. Sorry, pull out some of this. Try not to take out that poor little soybean. And then I'm going to probably take out a little bit here so those can go. And let's see what happens. So I think that's what's going to happen is these are going to kind of impede, so it's going to have to go down too. Oops. Duh. God. Got a soybean. I think we need to move that to the, I don't know. Maybe it was working better that way. Okay. Let's see what happens. So it's not fantastically down. I probably could do a lot better job, and I may come in here and trench a little bit of this. Sorry, Mr. Soybean. I think I'm going to move this poor soybean. I'm just going to burrow under here and see if I can find its roots. So I don't, yeah, it's pretty deep. See if I can just, we'll just move him. We'll take care of him in a second. As I take out the corn. Anyway, so, but I did like go down probably another inch, if not a little bit more. So I'm going to adjust all of this stuff. I actually moved this one. It was over towards a side. I moved it, so that's why it's open 360, but I think we may just have to suck it up and know that we're going to water the grass and the weeds around it. And I'll just have to probably weed eat a little bit more. I don't know. Okay, so let me show you a little bit of all of them. So last night when I did this, I had wrapped it real pretty around there, whatever, but I forgot and whatever. So it buried. There's one all the way to the other end that's also half buried. I moved this one and replanted my poor little bean because I forgot I wanted it on the end, and I was trying something when I finally gave up last night. That one I'm leaving on a corner because I want to see if that's going to work. It may have to go to this end down here because this is a 15-foot hose. Initially, I didn't realize the hoses were so long, so I didn't think I was going to have enough. But let's see what happens here. And then over here is baby asparagus growing, and I tried not to trample very many because I have little baby ones coming up. And then this is the bed I was telling you about. This is strawberries. Yeah, it's a whole thing. So when I put it in yesterday, I put it up underneath here and wove it. So this is just kind of giving them some room because this gets pretty heavy when it's wet. But I put it underneath and it just puddled, and I'm like, I'm sure it would go out and absorb, but I want to see if this works too. So it is a little higher than the other ones. I think it's open to 360, and hopefully we'll see. I'm pretty sure the water that goes this way and this way will feed this. We'll see how this all works, but I tried to cover my blueberries, and the wind took it off because I didn't hook it good enough. Anyway, we're going to talk about all these beds eventually, but baby asparagus. Yes, they look like ferns. They're so cute. I did grow from seed, but alright, let's turn the water on and see what happens. Okay, I had to switch hoses over, but we had another connection here for multiple hoses, but anyway, I have a leak that you'll see come up here. I really don't want to hire anybody to come fix it, so I'm wondering if I can just use some caulking. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments, but see, like, if I could just, I don't know. This house was built in 2005, so it might just need a little TLC. Okay, it's time to get wet. So this one back here is hitting me, which is cool. There's basil in there and tomatoes. So I may have to turn that one down a little bit. This one, let me see. I think, oh, there we go. See, this is how I get wet, but as you see, it's going over the edges. This one's going over the edges. This back one, sorry, my hands are wet and I'm trying not to touch my phone too much. This one back here needs to be spun. Oops. Let me see. So I think I need to spin the head to water this a little bit better. That one apparently I turned down way too low. Gotta go turn that one up. And this one I think I need to turn down, but that may have to go back under there. So this netting is permeable. All the water goes down into it, but I may have to pull it to maybe an edge so that it sprays over that. We'll see. Adjustments, not bad. Marigolds. It seems to be, I have some leaves in there that need trimmed, but that seems to be okay. This one's okay. I'm just making sure that these ones right here are getting enough water. Asparagus looks beautiful. This one, we tried a few different configurations. This is what we're doing for now, because you can see that it's dripping in there, so they're getting water. That may need adjusted, but seems to be what we're doing. Let's see if we can give you a big picture. So it covered 4 beds. I had 3 kits, and I have some sprinklers left over, and I need to buy some more hose for another section, but I think it's beautiful. Worked out great. So, watering systems, not my specialty. I debated about wearing a bathing suit out here today. I need a shower after this, but got many wet dresses I need to wash. But one of my neighbors was playing a lot of music, and usually that means they're having a party, so I didn't want to wear my bathing suit. And then as soon as I got out of here, it stopped, so they must have just been listening to music while eating. Anyway, so I'm goofy here. I believe kindness is the biggest attribute anybody can have and give to others. I hope that you're going to learn something here. We're going to have fun. I make fun of myself, and that is how I lighten up life. Like I said, reframing our mental health and how we think about things. Do I have bad days? Yep. But we're going to teach you how to have better days. And you'll get to laugh at me. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you have the sweetest dreams.